Shaybah ibn Hāshim, better known as Abdul-Muttalib, since he was raised by his uncle Muttalib, was the grandfather of Islamic prophet Muhammad. Early life. His father was Hashim ibn Abd Manaf, the progenitor of the distinguished Hashim clan, a subgroup of the Quraysh tribe of Mecca. They claimed descent from Ishmael and Ibrahim. His mother was Salma bint Amra from the Banu Najjar, a clan of the Khazraj tribe in Yathrib. Hashim died while doing business in Gaza. Before Abdul-Muttalib was born, he was given the name Shaybah, meaning the Ancient One, or white-haired, because of the streak of white through his jet-black hair, and is sometimes also called Shaybat al-Md. After his father's death, he was raised in Yathrib with his mother and her family until about the age of 8, when his uncle Muttalib went to see him and asked his mother Salma to entrust Shaybah to his care. Salma was unwilling to let her son go, and Shaybah refused to leave his mother without her consent. Muttalib then pointed out that the possibilities Yathrib had to offer were incomparable to Mecca. Salma was impressed with his arguments, so she agreed to let him go. Upon first arriving in Mecca, the people assumed the unknown child was Muttalib's slave, giving him the name Abdul-Muttalib, chieftain of Hashim clan. When Muttalib died, Shaybah succeeded him as the chief of the Hashim clan. Following his uncle al-Muttalib, he took over the duties of watering and feeding the pilgrims and carried on the practices of his forefathers with his people. He attained such eminence as none of his forefathers enjoyed. His people loved him and his reputation was great among them. Umar ibn al-Khattab's grandfather Nufail ibn Abdul Uzza arbitrated in a dispute between Abdul-Muttalib and Ab ibn Umayyah, Abu Sufyan's father, over the custodianship of the Kaaba. Nufail gave his verdict in favor of Abdul-Muttalib. Addressing Ab ibn Umayyah, he said, "Why do you pick a quarrel with a person who is taller than you in stature, more imposing than you in appearance, more refined than you in intellect, whose progeny outnumbers yours and whose generosity outshines yours in luster? Do not, however, construe this into any disparagement of your good qualities, which I highly appreciate. You are as gentle as a lamb. You are renowned throughout Arabia for the stentorian tones of your voice, and you are an asset to your tribe." The digging of the well Zamzam. Abdul-Muttalib said that while sleeping in the sacred enclosure, he had dreamed that he was ordered to dig at the slaughter place of the Quraysh between the two idols Isaf and Ilah. There he would find the Zamzam well, which the Jurham tribe had filled in when they left Mecca. The Quraysh tried to stop him digging in that spot, but his son Al-Arith stood guard until they gave up the protests. After 3 days of digging, Abdul-Muttalib found traces of an old well and exclaimed, "Allahu Akbar." Quote, "Some of the Quraysh disputed his claim to sole rights over water, but in the end they allowed him to keep it. Thereafter he supplied pilgrims to the Kaaba with Zamzam water, which soon eclipsed all the other wells in Mecca because it was considered sacred." The Year of the Elephant. According to Muslim tradition, the Ethiopian governor of Yemen, Ibrahim al-Ashram, envied the Kaaba's reverence among the Arabs and, being a Christian, he built a cathedral in Sana'a and ordered pilgrimage be made there. The order was ignored and someone desecrated the cathedral. Abraham decided to avenge this act by demolishing the Kaaba, and he advanced with an army towards Mecca. There were 13 elephants in Abraham's army, and the year came to be known as Am-al-Fil, beginning a trend for reckoning the years in Arabia which was used until Umar ibn al-Khattab replaced it with the Islamic calendar. When news of the advance of Abraham's army came, the Arab tribes of Quraysh, Kinana, Khuzra and Hudayl united in defense of the Kaaba. A man from the Imyar tribe was sent by Abraham to advise them that Abraham only wished to demolish the Kaaba, and if they resisted, they would be crushed. Abdul-Muttalib told the Meccans to seek refuge in the nearest high hills, while he, with some leading members of Quraysh, remained within the precincts of the Kaaba. Abraham sent a dispatch inviting Abdul-Muttalib to meet with him and discuss matters. When Abdul-Muttalib left the meeting, he was heard saying, "The owner of this house is its defender, and I am sure he will save it from the attack of the adversaries and will not dishonor the servants of his house." It is recorded that when Abraham's forces neared the Kaaba, Allah commanded small birds to destroy Abraham's army, raining down pebbles on it from the beaks. Abraham was seriously wounded and retreated towards Yemen but died on the way. This event is referred to in the following Quranic chapter. Have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the owners of the elephant? Did he not make the treacherous plan go astray? And he sent against them birds in flocks, striking them with stones of baked clay, so he rendered them like straw eaten up. Quote, this conflict occurred in 570, according to many sources the same year that Muhammad was born. Sacrificing his son Abdullah. Al-Harith was Abdul-Muttalib's only son at the time when he dug the Zamzam well. When the Quraysh were trying to stop his digging, he vowed that if he were to have 10 sons to protect him, he would sacrifice one of them to Allah at the Kaaba. Later, after 9 more sons had been born to him, he told them he must keep the vow. The divination arrows fell upon his favorite son Abdullah. The Quraysh protested Abdul-Muttalib's intention to sacrifice his son and demanded that he sacrifice something else instead. Abdul-Muttalib agreed to consult a sorceress with a familiar spirit. She told him to cast lots between Abdullah and 10 camels. If Abdullah were chosen, he had to add 10 more camels, and keep on doing the same until his lord accepted the camels in Abdullah's place. When the number of camels reached 100, the lot fell on the camels. Abdul-Muttalib confirmed this by repeating the test 3 times. Then the camels were sacrificed, and Abdullah was spared. Wives of Shaybah ibn Hāshim. Shaybah ibn Hāshim married Umrah bint Jandab of the Hawazin tribe. Lubna bint Hajj ibn Abd-Manaf ibn Sher ibn Habshah ibn Salul ibn Ka'ab ibn Amra of the Khuzā tribe. Fatima bint Amra of the Makhzum clan of the Quraysh tribe. Hala bint Wuhayb of the Zurah clan of the Quraysh tribe. Natila bint Kubab of the Khazraj tribe, or Natila bint Janab of the tribe of Namir. Mumana bint Amra of the Khuzā tribe. Children of Shaybah ibn Hāshim. According to Ibn Hisham, Abdul-Muttalib had 10 sons and 6 daughters. However, Ibn Sa'd lists 12 sons. By Umrah bint Jandab al-Arith ibn Abdul-Muttalib. He was the firstborn and he died before his father. By Fatima bint Amra, Abu Talib ibn Abdul-Muttalib. He became the leader of the Hashim clan after his father. He was the father of the future Caliph Ali. Al-Zubair ibn Abdul-Muttalib. He was a poet and he died before Islam. He left no sons behind. Abdullah ibn Abdul-Muttalib, the father of Muhammad. Barra bint Abdul-Muttalib. Arwa bint Abdul-Muttalib. Umama bint Abdul-Muttalib. Atika bint Abdul-Muttalib. Hakim al-Bayda bint Abdul-Muttalib. She was the maternal grandmother of the 3rd Caliph Uthman ibn Affan. By Lubna bint Hajjah, Abdul-Uzza ibn Abdul-Muttalib. By Hala bint Wuhayb, Hamza ibn Abdul-Muttalib. Safia bint Abdul-Muttalib. Ijl ibn Abdul-Muttalib. His real name was Mafira, and he had no children. Al-Gharadak was his epithet as he was a wealthy man famed for his generosity. Some say that Al-Gharadak's real name was Nawfal. Al-Muqarrawim ibn Abdul-Muttalib. Abd al-Kabar ibn Abdul-Muttalib. There are some scholars who omit Abd al-Kabar's name, saying that Al-Muqawwam was his ignomen. He is not listed by Ibn Hisham or Ibn Sa'd. by Natil bint Kubab al-Khazraji, Abbas ibn Abdul-Muttalib, Ara ibn Abdul-Muttalib. He left no descendants when he lost his way during a pilgrimage season, causing his mother to almost lose her mind fearing for his life. She made an oath to clothe the Kaaba if Allah returned him to her, and a man of Zamzam brought him back. Qutbah ibn Abdul-Muttalib. He died young. He is not listed by Ibn Hisham. By Maymuna bint Amra of the Khoza tribe. Musa'ib al-Ghadak ibn Abdul-Muttalib. He is not listed by Ibn Hisham. The family tree and some of his important descendants. Death. Abdul-Muttalib's son, Abdullah, died 4 months before Muhammad's birth, after which Abdul-Muttalib took care of his daughter-in-law Amina. Amina also died 6 years later, and Abdul-Muttalib looked after Muhammad until his own death in 578 CE at the age of 82. Shaybah ibn Hāshim's grave can be found in the Junayd al-Mu'alla cemetery in Mecca, Saudi Arabia.